Hi, you have tuned into the Raging Dragon channel, and I'm your host, Djingis. And today we're gonna do a trailer breakdown of the newly released Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield trailer from the Pokemon Direct. We will not show you the trailer because I've already done a short video on that, but instead we're gonna go through screenshots from the trailer and some other slides as well, other pictures. And we're gonna do hopefully a very narrow and very covering breakdown of everything we can see and talk about from the trailer. So this might be a long ride, so I hope you're ready for that. And I say we because with me I have a guest.
Hi.
That was a very boring intro.
Okay, well at least you heard me, so I mean I'm happy about that.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure about if it's gonna be on the good side, but we're gonna try our best here. But anyways, I'm Baron. I don't really have much else to say. Very excited to be here with you, Djingis.
Yeah, same mate. Really, it will be really fun. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
And you'll find.
Yeah, and we have different opinions
Oh, yeah.
on the in the trailer on the games as well, which is I think will be an interesting aspect to bring up, and it will lead to an interesting discussion. So I'm excited.
Yeah, 100%. I agree on that. But you will find Baron's channel in the description of this video, and you will also find this video on his channel.
Post the link. Pro tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna
Let's get into it, right?
Yeah, as you can see, we're starting with the logos, as everyone can see. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I'm not a fan of the logos. I'm not a fan of the names either. I feel the Pokemon Sword logo is a bit neater, a bit more direct than the Pokemon Shield logo. I really like the slash over the word sword, but other than that,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of either the name or the logos.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I think that every generation Pokemon has had its unique titles, like its unique themes. Like for example, with Generation 1 you had colors, with Generation 3 you had gemstones, with Generation 4 it's kind of the same. In Generation 6 there were letters, and then you have planets, and I have this, which I mean it goes along really well with the theme of England and the UK, which I really like. And speaking of the design of the logo, I really like the fact that they have sort of incorporated a Mon. I'm guessing that's a Pokemon into the logo. I don't know if that's going to be the box or the legendaries or not, but it's a really cool design in my opinion. And I just actually now noticed the slash through the sword and the spikes around the shield. So that's really cool design concept and the cool design aspect to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can agree on that. But at the same time, I just feel like the names for Pokemon game, they're a bit out there. Like it's not like the previous games all had colors or minerals or crystals or something like that. And then you have something that has with genomes to do with X and Y. And then you also have something that has to do with the nature, with Sun and Moon, which is more nature thing or whatever. Then you have Sword and Shield, which it's just out there because it's man-made for the first. It's also very, it's not very, I was close to say PG, but it's not a very political correctness way of putting out the game. Like you can't name a game Sword and Shield because it will bring out that it's a bit more, not offensive, but yeah, offensive I guess is the right word here. Some people might think that it's not so much of a Pokemon game, that it is something else.
I don't know what you mean about offensive really, but in my opinion, like they sound kind of like fan titles in a way.
Yeah.
Like how fan games are like made and what they're titled. That's kind of what it sounds like. But from another aspect, I think, as we will see in the pictures, a really really like integral part and concept in these games will be the fact of industry. And I think with that in mind, those titles really fit the possible theme of the game.
Yeah, I can see that. It's plausible, I guess. But I agree on that the names are a bit more fan game-like. And the logos as well, I mean, they're kind of basic, but at the same time they work pretty well for the theme. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but let's go into the big thing here, the things that everyone wants us to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it.
The trailer itself. So the first picture is just the Route 1 into the opening city, and oh my god, this game is beautiful. Just looking at this first screenshot,
It really is.
it's fantastic. I never thought, for someone that picked up Pokemon with what it's called, with the Sapphire, with Ruby Sapphire, or Emerald for that matter, I never thought that this would lead up to this. That we would have a Pokemon game looking almost like a real 3D environment or world. I have so many flashbacks to when I saw this first time. I had so many flashbacks to when I played the Tales of Berseria game that it was insane. And that's a really good game as well, so I mean, it's just good things to connect it with. They have lovely
I totally
mountains in the
agree with
background.
you. Yeah, it's just a beautiful. It's really a beautiful design of the game, and it has so much detail, which is another thing. In past games, you had like these models of houses and like objects in nature that weren't really life size. It didn't feel like you were part of the game. But in this game, you feel like everything is more realistically sized.
Yeah.
So it feels more like it's actually reality in a way. And another thing is that it looks a lot like, not in terms of like the gameplay, but in terms of like the design, it looks a lot like Breath of the Wild, which I really, really like, because Breath of the Wild is undoubtedly an amazing game.
More of a polished Breath of the Wild look.
I could agree with that, yeah.
It looks a bit more realistic, rather than the cartoonish look that Breath of the Wild sometimes had, especially with the grass and so forth.
Right.
This looks a bit more realistic in that sense. But then, if you look at the trees in the far back behind the city, that looks more like Breath of the Wild, cartoonish style. So
exactly. My point is that it just shows how much the Nintendo Switch allows for the game to like. It allows a lot for the game.
Yeah.
And we talked about this yesterday, and like you didn't get a Nintendo Switch for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
No, I wasn't a fan of those games at all. But I will get it for this.
The first thing you said to me about these games were, I'm definitely getting a Nintendo Switch now, and it just proves that like this is what Pokemon has needed, and it is what like the natural progression of the games.
I mean, for me, the Pokemon game isn't just about how it looks, because it has never really been that way. Even when you go back to like Black and White, that is almost 10 years old now, something like that.
That's insane. Doesn't feel like long.
It's still very pure it's the core Pokemon game. It's 2D or 3D sprites. Not really 3D sprites in the same way, but the overworld is more 3D sprites. Then it's mostly 2D sprites for the rest of the game. And you have that look at the same time as the rest of the gaming industry more or less goes over to these almost natural looking game engines that makes almost perfect screens or perfect pictures of today's life or whatever of humans and so forth. So I kind of think that that's sort of the charm with Pokemon. And I have no problems with graphic being bad or good, as long as the story and the Pokemons looks good. And
definitely.
Of course, it will be a higher chance of the Pokemon looking good if it has a great engine. And I really think that we have a good amount of... I mean, I have really high hopes for the design of the Pokemons in this game, because of how the overworld looks.
And I somewhat feel like it was a good idea to release Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee first, because that was sort of a test drive of what Pokemon would look like in Nintendo Switch. This is it perfected. If you go from a certain perspective, like if you go with the perspective of how Pokemon has always looked and what Pokemon is in terms of gameplay, this is pretty much a perfection you could have on Nintendo Switch at this point.
Yeah, I agree on that. And I also feel like this is a sort of try for the not the engine of the Switch, but for the engine of the models and so forth, the in-game engine. Like it would be a hard test for that as well, that we didn't have in Pokemon Go due to the lack of battles, like IRL battles versus other players, because you only had like 20 minutes for the whole time, so you couldn't really have a good chunk of huge battles with others, like 6v6 was almost impossible. You didn't have any wild battles with wild Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I haven't really tested the engines to its fullest when it comes to what Pokemon can be on the Switch. But this looks very, very promising.
It does.
And I think we have to go over to the next picture.
Yeah, we definitely have to move on.
So this is just,
This
as you can see,
picture
we're
of
going
a
through
fledgling.
scene for scene of the trailer. So we will talk about a lot of things. And the one thing that I will talk about here is the fletchling. And we'll talk more about fletchling later on. But that looks gorgeous.
There's that much to say about this fletchling. Apart of that, it looks gorgeous. I mean, it really does. If you notice,
I have another thing to
the
point
aspect
out.
of the metal. Notice the aspect of the metal. It looks so realistic.
Yeah, it looks almost real life. And
it does.
You had one thing that I just noticed that was really, really neat in my expectations at least. You have the fletchling that is Gen 6. Then beneath it, you have the circle and the half circle almost that is Sun and Moon, Gen 7. And then it is on the house, the foundation for Gen 8.
Oh, that's really cool. That's a cool aspect.
That's really nice. I just noticed that.
And beneath it, the beginning of Generation 8 starts. That's
really good.
That's a cool thing. Yeah.
This is also like I have no clue what they are called, but it's one of those that can point the wind direction. So it also for the new winds. It's new winds through the game.
Right.
It's very poetic if you overanalyze it.
Yeah. Hats off, Game Freak. Hats off. All right. So next picture.
Yeah. Next up, we have an overlook of something I think is a city based on Stonehenge. With
it might be.
It has to be a grass gym. The reason I think it's Stonehenge is because you have the in the background you have some stones that are standing up in the same way that Stonehenge has. You can see one just to the.
Right, that's true.
Just to the right or left, I mean, right to the left of the city. You can see one, and you also have some lying down everywhere on the fields here. You also can see some others with murals in the city as well. So I just really like how they have incorporated the whole thing of Stonehenge. It's a circle city, it's a round city with a gym in the middle, and then you have the base of what it's built upon around it. It's really neat.
Kind of interesting that it's a grass type gym though, in the Stonehenge area.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it has to be the gym badge that you see on the gym.
I mean, yeah, but with the green color, I mean, it's either bug type or it's grass type.
Yeah, but a bug type wouldn't really have a leaf in that form, I feel like. But it might be
exactly.
bug.
So it's probably grass type.
It's either grass or bug. It just feels odd to have it on Stonehenge. I would love a rock type gym in Stonehenge. Yeah, personally. Same. Or psychic, because we don't really know what Stonehenge was really about.
Cool.
So a psychic type gym could have also fitted in pretty well.
And let me just say, I'm so happy about gyms returning.
I'm really happy.
Like, not that trials weren't. I'm not hating on trials. I just think that the gyms are a better concept. And like, I'm so happy
I'm gonna do a 360 on that, almost or 180. I hate the trials. They were boring, they were easy, and they offered us no challenge at all.
Really?
And now we have gyms back, and the gyms, for starters, are based on football or soccer arenas, whatever language you speak.
Yeah.
And I love that. As a sport nerd or sport geek, I really love the fact that we have real stadiums for gym battles.
I'm not a sports geek, but as a part sociologist, I can definitely appreciate that.
We can't really see anything really new here either. So I mean, it's just the same. The Poke Center looks really nice. The houses looks really good as well. The city sign looks very neat as well. So yeah. And it's just really good all around. Next up, we have the house that we are pretty sure is, well, it has to be our character's house. And you can really see the difference between this house and the houses that you see in the picture of Stonehenge. Well, with the Stonehenge city.
It's just so gorgeous. It looks like something out of the Shire.
Yeah, it really does. And
it's gorgeous.
And you can really see that this is a important house due to the leaves and everything around the house. So it looks more alive than the NPC houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vines.
And it's the size of it too that kind of gives it away. But yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the male character. And
can we talk about the box bag, please? Like, why is it a box? Like, Someone explain.
I have no clue what they were out for that. I also
like,
noticed...
it looks like something you like carry around your accordion in.
Yeah, it just looks strange. I have no problem with it because it actually shows how big the bag has to be for you to actually fill everything into it or fit everything into it.
If you're gonna have a box, then you might as well have like a suitcase. I don't know. It's an unnecessary detail. It's just something that bothers me.
I agree 100%. One thing I do like about the sprite though is it looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
it looks really, really good. It actually feels like you are a bit older than the normal 10, 12. It feels like you are like 15, actually, 16.
Yeah.
And
I just thought that. And I think that is because of like the larger scale models of both the characters and like the settings around you. I mean, you look older as a result, which, I mean, for a lot of fans who are older, it's kind of a fun thing because it feels kind of weird sometimes playing like as a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that. One thing that I tried to get into the screenshot that I couldn't really get in was the Pikachu doll. The problem was that when you see the Pikachu doll completely, it goes over to another screenshot that we'll see later on, to the other scene. But when I saw the Pikachu first time, it actually looked like it was a Mimikyu smile rather than Pikachu smile.
Fan theory coming about that.
Yeah. But yeah, the room looks really good. The character looks really good. Over to the female version.
Yeah.
I prefer the female version in this game. I don't know why.
Only because she doesn't have a box bag.
But, I mean, the sprite looks better in my opinion. It looks more alive. The other sprite looks more very stale, and this one feels more like freedom, like motion freedom or something like that. It's just a very nice sprite that I prefer it. This would probably be the first time that I would play through the games with the female sprite. With the female.
I'm definitely playing male. Like it feels weird not playing male for me, but still, like I could definitely appreciate the detail and the design of the female character. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you really have this shot, you can actually see every single detail on the picture. You can almost see and smell the flowers. It looks very realistic, even up close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Next up, we just have the continued shot when you see her walking down. And it just looks very beautiful. It looks, when you see it in the trailer, it looks very fluid.
But this is where my disappointment about the game comes in, because what I hoped for, not what I expected, but what I'd hoped for, was that this game would be a mix between Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, and Breath of the Wild, which it isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like a modification of Generation 7, which has been done better, but it's not what I'd hoped for, because I thought it would be sort of like an
more open world.
More like open world. Exactly. Yeah. I hope that it would be an open world game.
I can agree on that.
It's
not. I think it will be very hard for them to do a Pokemon open world game due to the fact that it has to be a very straight line of storytelling for the Pokemon games as they have always done them. So when it comes to
that's
Pokemon
what I realized
games,
too, it kind of goes against the core mechanics of Pokemon.
Exactly.
It's not really what it's about, but it's what I would have hoped for.
Exactly. I 100% agree. I always wanted an open world Pokemon game, but I feel like that we will get closer to it the longer we have the Switch.
Exactly.
Because if
like
I'm not 100% wrong,
no,
we're talking about the Elder Scrolls. If I'm not 100% wrong, the Elder Scrolls 6, I think it is, that's coming out pretty soon. Well, pretty soon, probably in 2020. But that will be playable on the Switch, and that will really test the limits of the Switch.
Let's hope so.
I'm not 100% certain it will, but I'm pretty sure it will come out on the Switch.
Yeah.
And
but you know what, my point is,
like, that will actually open the doors for an open world Pokemon game, if we're lucky.
Yeah. Now my point is being like, realistically, no, we wouldn't get an open world Pokemon game. Like, if you could wish for things, then yeah, I would have loved that. So I was a bit disappointed initially going into this trailer and realizing, it's not.
I mean, I would like to have if we talk open world and we talk Gen 6, one thing that I want to have from Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu, of course, it would be the option to have your Pokemon following you or ride on the Pokemons.
That's kind of what we had Let's Go Pikachu, though.
Yeah.
Let's Go Eevee.
I know,
which
but
I really enjoyed.
But I really want to have that. That's the only portion of the game that I really enjoyed, and I really want to have that in this game. But that goes back to the whole discussion from Heart Gold and Soul Silver and so forth.
Yeah.
Next,
I'm personally a big fan of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, but I can see like why they disagree with that. But yeah, let's move on.
Next, we have a very interesting picture, in my opinion, because when I saw this the first time, I got two questions in my mind. Is this where we will find Mesprit later on?
Do you think Mesprit is going to be in this game?
No, because, I mean, my thought process was this looks exactly like the scenery in Gen 4 when you go into the lake of the trios, or whatever it's called.
I mean, no, but I see your point.
It
doesn't
similar.
really look like this, though. I mean, it's more like a regular lake.
But I agree, but it looks very similar if you make it like in this game engine. It would look pretty similar.
Yeah.
So that was my first train of thought when I saw this in the trailer.
Something I can agree with, that I think this could possibly be a place where you could find a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
In the post game.
I mean, it could be Suicune, it could be Celebi, it could be Mesprit, it could be whatever.
Or a new Pokemon, for that matter.
Yeah, Mew as well. But I mean, it actually looks like a place where you will find a mythical Pokemon.
Yeah.
But if we went, then I think it's the next picture. No, it's not. But then we have the big purple house that's either the home of Nappy and the Gengar, or
it has too much ivy around it. He wouldn't have that much ivy.
No, I mean, poison ivy. Come on.
True.
But then we also have the possibility for this to be one of three things. This could be a training school. It could be the professor lab, or this could be a berry plantation. But one thing that I think that we'll also see later on, and that's something I think it was Snappy who talked about that in his breakdown of the trailer. It could be a combination of a berry place and a Pokemon professor's lab. That this is a Pokemon professor that is focusing on berries. But we will come back to that discussion.
I don't know
later.
about all that.
We will come back to that discussion later, Baron. Yes. What do you think this is?
That it's either a trainer school or the
lab
for Pokemon professor. I think it is a lab. It's most likely that they will show off the lab rather than a trainer school.
Yeah, but at the same time, it does have a battle mat, or whatever you want to call it, battle court outside of it. So
right, it could be a professor that would specialize in some kind of battling.
It could be
kind of like Kukui, but not really. But I think it's
Kukui
very
had the
unlikely
moves. I don't really know what else it would be in the battling department.
Yeah, but I just think it's very unlikely that
Yeah.
it would be a professor specializing in berries.
But we'll come back to the screenshot
if you look at what
later on.
professors have been specializing on previously, then it's kind of a far stretch.
But I have a screenshot that we will show later on that will more show that possibility of him being a Pokemon professor focusing on berries. But next picture is the forest of the region. It has to be. In my dreams, I was close to call it, but what I would like to hope for this is that this is the Sherwood Forest, but the Pokemon Lighto, so to speak.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's probably like the equivalent of Viridian Forest. Like the forest you would travel through in the beginning of the game. It's most likely what it is. And with most aspects of this trailer, it's most likely things that we will encounter early on.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if I had to guess, I would guess that this would be the first real route of the game. Like you have Route 1 into the city, then you have the forest, and then you have the next city. So you have like some smaller things, and then you have the big forest, and then you come out to the next city after two starting towns, so to speak.
No, totally. Next picture?
But yeah, it's actually a pretty nice screenshot. It looks very alive, very mystic.
Yeah.
You almost get the sense of enemies riding through the fog, druids or whatever you wanna add as well. I mean, it feels very alive. It's not often Pokemon feels this alive. I didn't get that feeling with Sun and Moon. I didn't get the feeling with X and Y. Just looking at these screenshots, it feels like it's alive in a whole other sense than it was before.
I don't know, like with Sun and Moon, I got the feeling that everything was very local. because it was so small. It was such a small region, and you definitely felt the culture in another way that you hadn't previously. I think this is like a continuation of that, which is a good thing.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
So let's move on to the next picture.
This is probably...
It's definitely London. I mean,
no, I don't think it's London.
Ourselves.
I don't think it's London. I think this is Manchester.
Really?
Yeah, because Manchester is the biggest industry city in England. And you do see that you have some form of industry in the foreground, then you have some form of industry in the background, and then you have something that's rather a church rather than Big Ben.
I mean, I can see your point. I just had the impression that this was London because it was such a I got the impression of it being a large city, as I thought it was be kind of like.
Oh, yeah, I agree, but I get the feeling that this is like a suburban part rather than a big city.
It might be.
Because when we look at the maps later on, you will see where I think London will be located. Due to some other things. But I really think that this will be Manchester, something based off of Manchester, rather than London. But I agree that when I saw this the first time, I actually thought it was London, but I'm not so sure anymore.
We will see.
Also, you see the cogwheels in the background. I mean, we can only speculate, but cling, clang, and whatever. Cling, clank, clink, or whatever the name of the man is.
Clink, clank, clink, clank.
Yeah. Will probably be somewhere in this UK region due to the industrialization portion of the mythos.
Like I mentioned, industry is going to be a massive part of this game, most likely.
So that's probably, I mean, that's one thing. We can also see something that looks like stores in the far bottom of to the bottom right of the screenshot. So maybe we will have some form of market there, probably just by clothes or something. But it looks really nice just looking at this.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a closer look at the Stonehenge Gym. It has to be the Stonehenge Gym because it's the same logo and so forth. Unless that the logo is the logo for the gym, for all gyms, rather than the logo of the badge.
That's very unlikely given that it's a leaf.
Yeah, and at the same time you also have the other form of logo. You have the red and blue logo that's just outside on the green pedestal and on the doors. That's more feel like the gym, like the local symbols for gyms, with the region symbols for gyms. And then also the arena is more green than anything else. I mean, this kind of has to be grass the more you look at it.
I mean, I would find it very difficult for it to be anything else than grass. I mean, it's a grass gym. Yeah, and then you have I mean, it's nothing strange on the stone. There are no strange carvings. I mean, it's just a cube and then something that's looking like more of a combination of cubes that might be something that should represent Necrozma. Looking at how it's formed, but that's a bit of a stretch. That's a really big stretch. Definitely.
But it's another thing with this is that you can actually see the small cloud smoke from when you're running or walking on the dirt path, which is really nice.
And just look at the scaling of these buildings.
Yeah, it looks real.
It feels way realistic, which is awesome. And look at the detail of the train and all the aspects of this picture is just it's so much art and detail being put into it, which I really appreciate. Yeah, it looks very, very good, and I just hope that the whole game will look at this and feel as realistic as the screenshots and the trailer looks. Next up, we have another screenshot from a city, and I'm pretty sure that this is the same city that we saw earlier. And I'm 100% certain that this will be Manchester in the game. Yeah. I mean, for me, it has to be Manchester. So I can see London as well, but it just doesn't feel right. It could also be Newcastle, thinking about it, because it has steam engines everywhere. It's Manchester or London, it's those two options. Yeah, but Newcastle is also or possibly Glasgow. Yeah, Glasgow. I mean, Glasgow could be possible, but I think that we will see Glasgow later on. Yeah. If Scotland is even in this game, I think it's 50-50 on that.
But this could actually be Newcastle as well due to the Steam engines everywhere. Because that's where the Steam engines really got its breakthrough when they started to implement it in the industry. So that's another portion of it. Next
and actually,
screenshot,
I was a picture ahead of you when I said about the scaling. Like this was a picture I was looking at.
Yeah, this scale is really good.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like it looks so realistic,
and even like, the scale on the other pic looks very realistic with how the tree is way bigger than you are. But this looks very realistic in scale. But next up we have, this is just a very bad screenshot because you can't really see a lot. This is just the snowy region. Just wanted to show it to us off because we don't really see a lot of the snowy parts of the snowy areas of the region. You only see it in this scene and one other scene if I remember correctly. So I just wanted to show off the beauty actually that the screenshot shares with the path, with the snow-clad rocks, whatever you want to call it, on the other side, mountain parts. It just looks very good.
I think this actually might be one of the few screen pictures that we have of the late part of the game. Yeah. Because I don't think this is early on in the game. I think this is like 6th, 7th, or 8th gym.
I mean, it could be early on in the game, and then you have to backtrack. But
it could be, but I think it's more likely that it's later.
Yeah, it feels very realistic that this would be later on in the game.
Yeah.
It looks good though, either way. I mean...
It does.
And next up we have once more a picture very close to the lake and what we think will be the Pokemon Professor Lab. Just looks very good.
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Look at how the trees are reflected in the water.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. The water looks amazing. Yeah. Like, this is a Pokemon game. Why is the water looking so good?
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, for me, the water looks almost better than the grass in some of these screenshots. Yeah, it's very good. I can't wait to surf on these waters.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
It'll be so fun. But
let's move on.
Yeah, we have talked about that. Here we have, well, she's sneaking up in the grass, so I kind of hope that the sneaking method is back, so you can sneak up on Pokemon, and you remember the scanning that you had in ORS. I kind of hope that that's with us again.
One thing I dislike about this is that the fact that Pokemon pop up so you can choose who you want to encounter is not in this game, evidently. Which I think was a very good feature of Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. So I'm kind of disappointed about that this period.
I feel like the only reason they don't have it in this game is because they have a lot of new Pokemons.
Possibly,
and they don't want to spoil them for you. They want them to really see them the first time when you battle them.
Yeah, actually that's a really good point.
So I feel like that's the reason why they don't have that. But I agree, I would rather have them in the open world a lot more.
Yeah.
And next picture is just her in the same scene, just continuation. She enters in a Pokemon battle and we see a Pikachu. We can see everything in the background. Like, I have taken screenshots of every single battle that we can see because these backgrounds of the battles are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
also one thing that I just thought of as a joke, but it might actually be something that might be a reality. You see, like, how the Pokeball is way too high compared to Pikachu.
Yeah.
So either it's that it's just it's like a curveball, so it's just, or it's that you can actually miss Pokeballs in this game.
I mean, I think that this is before she sends out her Pokemon. So I think that she's just sending out her Mincino at this point.
Yeah, that could be true. But it will be a cool aspect being able to miss Pokeballs.
No,
that'd be so annoying.
It would be so annoying. Remember in Generation 1 when you could miss Pokeballs? And I actually missed my Master Ball when I was going to capture Mewtwo. And I got pissed.
You shouldn't be able to miss your Master Ball, but maybe as it is actually in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, you can actually miss Pokeballs.
Yeah.
So,
but this looks very good. I mean, I don't really care about how the Pikachu looks because it's kind of the same sprite as we saw in Generation 6 and 7, and it's a Pikachu, of course.
Yeah.
But looking at the character sprites that we have just in front of us in the picture, it looks so good.
Yeah, it does. I
mean, it's very neat. The the background is perfection. We also see the Mincino here. We see the battle stance of the trainer. We can see the backgrounds of her side as well. And it actually looks like you are in the grass battling. Just as they made a clearance.
Something I noticed just now is like how much of a British
culture landscape.
Her clothes are inspired by British culture.
They
like
really
the cardigan and like the hat, like it is properly British, which I really like.
Oh yeah, I can 100% agree on that. I didn't notice that before you mentioned it.
Yeah.
But we can also see that this is Route 1, so we'll probably be able to encounter Pikachu on Route 1 as we'll almost be able to do in every single game.
Yeah.
Well, Route 1 on the forest, so nothing too
Makes sense with it being England too.
Yeah. This is my favorite screenshot. You can see if you go back to this one, you can see the determination in her face as she battles. And in this, you can see the happiness of him trying to capture Pokemon.
Yeah.
We have emotions. We finally have emotions on our players. Well, of the character that we are playing.
That's very cool, actually. Something I definitely didn't notice, but it's actually, it's a really cool concept and a really cool aspect.
And this is probably my favorite background in the whole game as well.
In the Machina picture?
Yeah, the picture with the icebergs icebergs or ice portions in the back.
Oh, you're on the next picture, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it looks really clean.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
And then the next picture we have, I mean, we can talk about this how long we want, but it's just him capturing something. And the Pokeball looks very, very good. The throw looks fantastic with the glistering things.
Mm-hmm.
And the
although something I'm wondering is, like, who the fuck takes his sunbath? Among
we'll go to the next picture.
Like that's interesting. All right.
It has to be the Irish guys or girls.
Yeah.
That's why they're so white all the time. But then just look at how sad Wishy-Washy is. I mean, Wishy-Washy looked sad in Generation 6 or Generation 7. But look how sad it is.
Yeah, he just does not want to be captured.
Yeah, but this is also a very beautiful background once more, and the water is fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. Like,
these two screenshots, I can't get enough of them. They are really, really good.
Yeah, like just you don't notice them that much in the trailer looking through it, but like just looking at them individually, like.
Oh yeah, but I mean, this scene was like half a second. The previous scene was 1 second. This was half a second, and the next screen, this is also a very beautiful shot. This was like 0.25 seconds. So you could hardly see them. It was very, very fast.
Yeah.
And it was, even when I scrolled down, so I had 0.25 speed to be able to get the screenshots. Mm-hmm. It was very hard to actually get this screenshot. I had to try it 10 or 15 times to actually be able to get this and not have it fade over to the previous one or the next one that we will see.
Yeah.
But this is also a very beautiful background. That's mostly why I wanted this, because it's just a Pokeball floating after you capture something.
But just the background, it looks gorgeous. You know?
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
What else can you say? Like, it looks amazing.
And next up, we have the forest with the same thing. The Pokeball has landed and is now trying to spin around to capture the Pokeball, the fighting inside.
Yeah.
Nothing new. This was also a very short view. And then the next up, we are back to Stonehenge. We are in the wheat fields, so we can encounter Pokemons in the wheat fields.
And the fact that they're keeping like the captured animation from Generation 7 is, it's a good thing, because it was a good animation.
I really love this. Like, when I saw this in the trailer, I wouldn't say that I got starstruck, pun intended, because of the stars. But I really liked it. It was really, really nice to see.
No, totally.
And next up, we have a trainer battle, of course.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably just a continuation of Route 1, going down to the Pokemon Professor's lab or whatever.
Yeah.
You can see the small river going out to the big lake. And then you have the trainer battle. It's pretty
the versus animation. It's like
yeah.
You know like how Elite Four animations looked. So you felt like they were really special, like in Generation 4 and Generation 3. Every battle is like that now, which is amazing.
And when I saw this the first time, this was the part of the trailer that got me. Okay, I have to buy this game just to be able to see these. Trainer battles intros.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's so gorgeous, and it almost looks. We can actually see that this is probably a preschooler or a schooler, some kind that she's facing. and we
What
can
is that
see
haircut?
that it actually is very British due to the school uniform, and it almost looks like it's a Hogwarts jacket.
Well, somewhat, yeah.
I mean, you understand what I mean. You understand where I'm
I get your
coming
point. I get your point. Yeah.
from. And it's so beautiful. I mean, the sprites are really, really good looking for being a Pokemon game.
Yeah, I mean.
So,
yeah,
and
it
that's
really
of
is.
course what we have to compare it with. If you compare this to, I mean, any of the new games that came out recently, like Anthem or something like that, Metro Exodus, something like that, it wouldn't look that good. But for this being a Pokemon game, it's heaven above.
Yeah.
And then we are in the battle. We can see Grubbin. We can see preschooler Oliver in the background. And you can also see a lot of the trailer. I mean, trailer. The battle backgrounds. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's gonna be different for every scenery, and it's just gonna be as detailed as this one.
You will never be able to get bored of the backgrounds.
I mean, yeah, just I mean, this is a bit of an industrial area, but just imagine being way into the highlands of England.
Yeah.
And having those amazing, because it's beautiful in real life, but it's just as beautiful in the game.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Hoothoot using Air Slash, I'm pretty sure.
He looks pissed.
I mean, it looks pissed off as hell. It's out for blood, man.
It is.
And you can also see
I mean, just look at the I think the thing that is beneath him, like the wind sort of thing, is like it's it's signifying that it's a flying type attack.
Yeah.
And if you have one of those for every single typing, that would be fucking amazing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that this would be Air Slash or something like that due to the way it flaps its wings, and in the trailer you can actually see it sending away something in a straight line. So I'm pretty sure this is Air Slash.
It might be Peck too.
I don't think it's Peck because it looked more like Air Slash in the trailer.
Okay, well.
But if you look at the background between the previous picture, which is pretty light, and this one, it's a bit darker. I think that they have a complete day and night cycle in this game.
Most likely,
on a way bigger scale than they had in Sun and Moon. In Sun and Moon, they had night and day, no problem. It went slowly, and you could see the sun slowly setting and so forth. But it didn't really change the atmosphere of the game so much. This looks more like it's bad weather on the horizon. And
I don't know if I agree with
so
that.
much more.
It's not changing the atmosphere because in terms of Sun and Moon, in Sun you played mostly throughout day, in Moon you played mostly throughout night, and it definitely gave different feelings to games.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that feeling. I'm talking about the change of clock in the game. That didn't feel as dramatic as it should have done.
Oh, well,
in my opinion. This looks really dramatic. Like it actually looks like it's about to come in rain clouds to start raining, but it's probably just the sun setting in the background.
Yeah, most likely.
Next shot,
picture,
we have Svilus in the dark.
Yeah.
Probably the dark because it's using a Dragon Pulse, and this was powerful as hell to see in the trailer.
Yeah.
This was one
plus
of the...
Plus, like, Svilus is fucking adorable in this picture. Like...
Yeah. And I mean, just seeing Svilus and a powerful Dragon-type move and the background...
Yeah.
I mean, my mind was blown. I was speechless when I saw that. I don't really think we have anything else to say because we're pretty sure that it has to be Dragon Pulse. Next up, we have something that I'm not sure what it is. It could be one of 3 moves. But we have a Flygon attack. It could be, well, 4 moves in that case. But we have a Flygon attacking a Braviary. This could be Whirlwind. This could be Tailwind, but I don't think it's Tailwind because it looks like it's doing damage. So I'm pretty sure that this is Whirlwind. Well, Whirlwind wouldn't make sense either then. So Hurricane or Boomburst with
or
Tailwind
possibly
and
Sandstorm.
I don't think so. Looking at how it would be more sand on the screen then, based on how it looks with the shivering light, whatever you want to call it, in the far left corner.
I just want to point your attention to something. You notice how the trees are
bending
I noticed backwards.
I noticed that. That was led me to believe that it's more Hurricane than Boomburst, but it could very well be Boomburst as well.
But just like how,
and either way,
that fact was something they did not have to put in the game. But the fact that they had makes it feel so much more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't. I mean, it could just be the effect of how the how it warps around, because we see that both Flygon and the Brave Area are a bit blurry, so it can just be the effect of it warping around with the move, but it probably is a very good, it's a reactionary environment in the battles.
Yeah, which is amazing.
It looks fantastic. Next up we have Whalmer, probably using Splash.
Splash?
Meow Stick.
Not Water Spout?
It could be Water Spout, but it feels like it was, I think, pretty sure it was jumping up and down before this.
Oh, okay,
It was like something like that.
Like,
so
based on this picture, it looks like he's like drawing water out of his blowhole. So
yeah, it could be whatever move here. It could be, it's probably either Water Spout or Splash. I mean, Splash doesn't really make sense then if it comes out of the head.
Exactly, out of the blowhole, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. But I mean, yet again, looks amazing.
It looks fantastic. And then we have this. This is probably my favorite scene in the whole anime. Wow, in the whole trailer. I mean, it kind of felt like an anime in some sense, trailer for an anime rather than a game. But if you look at the background, I just want to point that out for you. If you look at the background, do you see the Game Freak logo?
Yeah, I see it. Holy shit, that's awesome.
Do you see the logos on the other side as well? Well, not the logos, but do you see? It looks more like that's the logos for each game, or has some resemblance to each game. Like you have the, if I'm not 100% wrong, you had some form of the Pokeball swirling around when you had red and blue. Then you see a Pokeball that's swirling around. Gold and Silver was more stationary, and then like I'm not sure if that's true or whatever, but it actually kind of looks like it. But it's 100% the Game Freak logo on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This
I mean,
will be. This is.
I want to say
arena.
something else too.
Yeah.
This looks about the level that Pokken Tournament was. It's like they took Pokken Tournament with animation and just put it into Pokemon game, which is really, really great.
Oh yeah, I 100%
I love that because I love that game. It's a great game.
And if you look at the background as well, you will see we will have a better shot at it later on. But this has the feel of it either being a gym battle, or Elite Four battle, or something like a battle arena, or a Wi-Fi battle.
I think that the latter two are more likely, actually.
Yeah. But this, I mean, I have no clue what this was for move that Lucario is using. It could be everything between Mach Punch, Vacuum Wave, and when I first saw it, I thought it was All Out Pummeling just because of the big fist. It could be Aura Sphere as well. Like, it could be so many options. And then we have...
I don't think it's Aura Sphere, but I think it's All Out Pummeling. Or like Force... No, not Force Pump, but... Post Combat, possibly.
I mean, it looks more like a special attack, the way Tyranitar took it, if you go over to the next shot. Because then you see how it swerves around.
Oh, yeah.
It just was so damn powerful to see in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad they showed it off, because the moves actually feels real now. You can actually see.
I think based on that, it's a soccer stadium. Based on that, it's a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
With it being sports and all, I think it's likely that it's a Wi-Fi battle, because that goes along with that theme of competitive.
Yeah. And if you go to the next screenshot, you can actually see everything in the round, and you can actually see something that looks like a world champion logo in the background. So this might be like what was it called in the? I think it was Generation 5.
World Tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that this might be
absolutely,
that. As well. Looking at the logo,
can you imagine
in the middle
the
right
roster
there.
of trainers all throughout Generation 1 through 7?
Yeah.
Like, if they were in the World Tournament in Generation 8, that would be great.
That would be so fun.
That would be an amazing post game. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of the post game in any of the games really, but this would be a really nice post game to do.
Like, Black and White 2 had the best post games in all throughout Pokemon, in my opinion. Possibly Generation 2 because of the Kanto region, but a large part of why Generation 5 Black and White 2 are amazing in terms of post game is the World Tournament.
Yeah, 100%. And you can actually see the background here. You can actually see every single, like, it's not those blue masses that it used to be in the Wi-Fi battles, and it's actually individual persons and Pokemons. It looks like in the stands.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it actually looks like there are some Pokemons in the stands as well. So it actually feels alive.
It does. Yeah, it's just great.
I'm so hyped for this. Like,
look at T-Tar.
You can't look at this and not be hyped.
T-Tar looks. Look at that great T-Tar looks.
Yeah,
too.
T-Tar looks fantastic. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that it just opened up its eyes later on when the move was close to come, and it was so. Yeah, it was really nice.
If I would complain about anything, I expected the art to be bigger, but that's where it is.
Yeah, but I think that I think it's bigger because if you go back to the previous picture, this looks pretty big. I just think it looks small because the arena is so big.
It's Godzilla, so I expected it to be massive, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's actually really big. I just think it's the arena making it look small.
Possibly, yeah.
But next picture, we are probably inside either the Pokemon Professor's house or your own house, and you have a Munchlax.
It's most likely our house, and it's Munchlax. I love Munchlax.
I love the Munchlax.
So happy we have a pet
I really loved how
in the
before this pic, it's just like it was sleeping, and then it came in, and its head just popped up and was all smiley and happy.
It's not a good sign when I'm hyping over Munchlax more than ending in this trailer. I just love the fact that we have a pet Munchlax. Like,
yeah, I agree. Especially if it's the payday one, so we can get paid every day.
Yeah, you won't get to eat much food though, because he's just gonna hoard it.
Yeah, true.
But going away from Munchlax, look at how detailed the living room is.
Yeah, the living room is fantastic.
And then compare it to how it's been in previous generations.
It looks so good. I mean, I can't stretch it enough. I really think that Pokemon will get even bigger now because of how good the graphics looks. How sad that even sounds. I mean, it sounds very sad. But I think it will get bigger now because more people will be interested in it because it looks good.
Not that it needs getting bigger. It's the second biggest game franchise of all time, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, when you talk, I mean, most of those that plays the game are, at least what I have found out, I mean, at least what I noticed is like between the ages of 12, 13 and upwards. And I feel like this is a game that will bring in a lot more of new, younger generations because of how great it looks.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that, yeah. Probably.
So I think that this would be a very good new step for Nintendo. It looks very, very good. And if the game is great and doesn't hold your hand for 8 hours of the gameplay, it could be very, very nice.
One thing I'm taking away from this picture is I really hope that we can replace our starter with Munchlax.
We're gonna talk about the starters later, but yeah. And then we have the city, the picture of the city, that I think will be either Glasgow or Edinburgh.
This is my favorite aspect of the trailer.
It looks so good.
It looks so good.
The reason I think this would be Glasgow or Edinburgh is because you have the museum in the back, and it looks more of
oh, yeah, you're right.
I don't think they would have the British Museum in London, as everything else more or less feels like it is London. This can't be London. This
is probably not London.
This looks way more like Glasgow or Edinburgh, in my opinion. And you also have the museum in the background that feels like this will be pretty late in the game, probably, or it is early in the game.
Yeah.
Because this was what I was referring to earlier when I said they had the snow trail, and that picture, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I feel like that will lead up to this city, and in this city we have the museum where you can revive your fossils, and I think that will be pretty in the middle of the game, and then you will have to retrack later on.
Or this might be like a fucking snowball scenario. Where it's like the 8th gym.
It could be that as well.
Yeah.
But it looks fantastic.
It does. I mean, look, it just looks so pretty. Like it's like something out of a fairy tale movie.
Oh no!
Like
I just realized one thing.
Windows and all that stuff. Yeah. What?
Yeah, I agree 100%. But I just realized something.
What?
Doesn't this remind you of Festival Plaza?
Let's not talk about that.
I just realized that, and I got really sad.
Let's say it's not.
Yeah, let's pray it's not, rather.
Let's pray to Arceus that it's not.
And yeah, it looks so darn beautiful. I mean...
Yeah.
I can't say that enough.
We've said beautiful like 55 times this trailer breakdown, but yeah.
We have to say it more than that, because the next picture is even more beautiful, in my opinion.
I don't know about that, but it's definitely gorgeous.
I mean, for me, this looks like the perfect place. This looks like the perfect place for an Aron, Lairon, and Aggron.
It's probably where you find your fossils, which gets me into the second thing, which is that it looks a lot like where you find your fossils in Generation 6.
Yes, it does. The Glittering Cave, I think it's called.
So, you know what?
Yeah?
People have been talking about that Kalos postgame.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is part of the Kalos postgame.
I mean, it could be, but I wouldn't stretched that right way. If it is, it might be a DLC based on how the gaming industry is.
I'm just exploring some crazy concepts here, but it would be amazing if it was.
Oh yeah, it would be fantastic.
Just because it looks like it so much, I just thought that would be a possible scenario. But
but one thing that I noticed here is that we have only green, blue, and red shards here.
Nod to original games?
Could be, but I was also thinking that you might have taken away the yellow shards, because these looks like revives. And if you have yellow shards looking like these, then people might think that there are 3 revives to get here. In a way bigger scale than it was before.
True. Might also be Victory Road. I'm just spitballing, but
I don't think this will be the Victory Road. At
probably
all.
not, but
I think we will see that later on in another trailer. This looks more like the place where you'll get your fossils, maybe encounter with the rock type Fume Leader or whatever.
Yeah, most likely.
But it looks gorgeous, for me at least. And I love cave environments in games, especially in Pokemon games. So this is probably one of the favorite parts for me.
I didn't used to like cave areas like in Generation 1, 2, 3, 4, but like they definitely improved them over the years. And
the cave in
the
caves in Generation 1 and 2 were horrible. Generation 3 caves was pretty dope in my opinion. And then it was better.
It was alright.
Next picture is a very interesting picture we can talk a lot about.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a while. What do you think this is?
Well, I know that this is based upon Man on a Hill. That is a real thing where it has been like that for generation, generation. It's been there for over 1,000 years, if I recall correctly. Even longer, if I could be right about that. But this will probably be one of 2 things. It will either be a legend, or it will be a very bad drawing of Melmetal.
I think they're both as likely. I mean, I think honestly, it might be a different form of Melton.
Yeah, Melton.
Because you notice it kind of looks very much like Melton, like
I agree on
beneath
that.
it. So I think for some power that is only available in this region, Melton gains in a different form.
Yeah, but if you look at the head kind of looks like the whole way of how it's built kind of looks like a werewolf. In my opinion.
In a way, yeah.
So this might actually be like one of the legends, because I'm pretty sure that there will be a wolf legend or dire wolf legend or something like that.
Maybe not as a box art legendaries, but
yeah. It looks powerful. It looks really, really good.
Yeah. Another thing that I noticed is that it looks like the Seeker lines in South America, so that might be something else. But it definitely has something with the region's lore to do. Like it definitely is connected to that.
Yeah, but this is based on a place in England that actually exists, and not on the Seeker lines.
I'm just saying it looks like
it
looks like the Nazca lines. Yeah.
But if you go, what I hope is that you have this to the left or the middle of you, and then this is a circle platform that is one way, and then depending on where you look, you will see different legends or different paintings, or whatever you want to call this.
That might be actually accurate.
That would be fantastic.
It would be. I would be down for that very much. All right, should we move on?
Yeah. And then we are back in the city where I think I'm 100% certain that we have a museum in the background. I'm 100% certain that this is Edinburgh or Glasgow. But it just looks beautiful. I don't really have anything else to say.
It kind of reminds me of from Harry Potter, Godric's Hollow.
Yeah, I was about to say that earlier, but I forgot about it. That was one of the first thoughts I had when I saw it as well.
Yeah.
The next picture is just in the cave, and it looks fantastic. Once more, there are no yellow shards. As far as I can see, I can see some yellow light, but I think that that's rather red light going in to the camera or something. It looks fantastic, this one. And then we have, this was probably one of my favorite screenshots. If you don't want anything off the game, if you just want to have a screenshot from the game, this is a fantastic one, because it shows the nature, it shows the graphic, it shows the culture, it shows the whole way of how the game will look, and it just feels perfect in my opinion. The only thing that I lacked in this picture is a Pokemon. If there was any form of Pokemon in this picture, it would be fantastic. Yeah, I think so as well. But it just looks fantastic. And here's a shot that I was going to talk about later. You are now inside what I would think is the Pokemon Professor's lab. Okay, we are back again. We had some technical difficulties ×2. First,
we recorded the whole second part, and it was not there after that.
Yeah, so we lost about half an hour of footage. So
not at all frustrating.
Well, we didn't lose everything, which was good. We only lost half an hour. We didn't lose the first hour that we'll see, so that's good.
Djingis, you realize we're gonna look like such pros.
Yeah.
When we upload this video.
But I mean, that's the perk of working with me. Something will go wrong with the technical stuff. 100%.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, my man. All right.
But yeah, let's talk about this picture here.
Through this.
This picture is 100% the female main character in the Pokemon Professor's lab. And we know that it is the lab due to the fact that we can see in the right corner of the picture. And then we have the books as well that also shows that to us. But then we also have the monitor, whatever you want to call it, the glass bunker.
Yeah.
In the middle here.
That sounds so dramatic. The bunker.
The glass bunker. That can be one of two things, really. It could be the show-off monitor for the grass starter, since it's grass and green stuff in it, or it is one of the monitors he uses to do his research, which in this case would it would show that he would study in some sort of nature field. I would say berries, also based on that look like some form of berry farm outside of the lab.
Like I mentioned, in the earlier recording before it was managed, it could also be that this professor is studying Pokemon habitats, which is, I mean, it is what Pokemon Birch studies. I also think that it could be a spin of it, like some different aspects.
What if it is Pokemon Professor Birch that is the main Pokemon Professor of this region?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That's a theory for later.
I can also see it like being kind of Pokemon ecology.
Yeah,
being studied, which would be another thing that could be the truth. But yeah, it's a cool setting, and it's just really
it's showing off the beauty of the game once more.
Like we hadn't seen it already.
Yeah. Next picture is the last picture from the trailer. It's going into it's the main male character that goes into the stadium. This looks like it is Wembley or Wimbledon, which makes me thinking that this is Elite Four Champion Battle or whatever. Could also be Wi-Fi Battle or something like that.
It makes me think that it's a Pokemon Plaza.
I don't think this will be the Pokemon Plaza. I really hope this won't be the Pokemon Plaza.
Let's hope it's not, because if that, we're just hyping about nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the end of the trailer. I don't have too much to speak about of this picture.
No, same.
It's mainly the main character walking out into some form of field, probably for battle versus a gym leader, Elite Four member, or champion. That's about it. I mean, we can't say too much about it otherwise.
No.
So, what is your main thoughts from the trailer?
Wait, we're not done yet.
No, I know, but this is the end of the trailer.
Oh.
The gameplay trailer.
You're referring to that. I think it was a very disappointing trailer to begin with during initial watch. But like analyzing it and like looking at different like aspects more closely, I definitely have grown some appreciation for it. And I think I would be more hyped just like when more trailers are released. I think my hype will grow. Because it's kind of moderate right now, but it will definitely grow. What about you?
I agree on you. For me, the hype is huge because I was not expecting a game looking this good from the Pokemon company. At least not right now. This is huge for me. I love the settings. I love the region so far. I love everything we have seen so far, barring the starters, but we will talk about that later. Just looking at the trailer, I'm sold. I mean, I want to buy this game 100%. And if they could show us new Pokemons, in the later trailer. Not every single one that they did for Pokemon Sun and Moon, but maybe 10 or 15 new mons. That could be pretty dope, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Then again, you were hyped from the beginning, weren't you?
I was hyped as soon as they said that they had a new game in the making, and it would be Generation 8 when it said Pokemon Sword and Shield, even if I hate the names. I got hyped as soon as they said that. Yeah. And as soon as I saw the region, I was speechless. I had my jaw was on the floor. I dropped so hard it made an earthquake around the whole city.
Good way of phrasing it. But shall we move on to the next slide?
Yeah. Next slide is all the confirmed Pokemon that we can see from the trailer. We saw a Pikachu, so therefore Pichu and Raichu will be in the trailer. We saw will be in the game. We saw Cinccino, a Minccino in the trailer, and therefore Cinccino will be in the game. We saw Wishiwashi and Grubbin and yada yada yada. These are the mons, the first 30 mons that was shown to be confirmed for the game from the trailer, one way or another. And I love every single one of them. I think they fit very well into the atmosphere of a British game, barring from one set of 3 mons. I don't think Trapinch, Vibravo, Flagon has anything to do in a Pokemon region based off of England or the UK.
And I would agree with you. But from the looks of it, it looks like there's some sort of desert, a mountainous area, which I can see these mons fitting into somewhat.
I can agree on that.
But I would agree with you. They don't really fit in the region. Like there are a lot of mons that can fit better in the region.
Yeah. And we will talk about that in the next slide. But first,
which one of these mons? I gotta ask, which of these mons, like that we know are in the game, do you want to use?
Rufflet and Wailmer, 100%. I was debating on using Wishiwashi or Wailmer, but I'm gonna go with Wailmer just because I love Wailmer and Wailord. Rufflet is a Pokemon that I have never used in any form of Let's Play, whatever I've done. I didn't use it in Sun and Moon, I didn't use it in X and Y, and I have never played Black and White or Black and White 2 long enough to be able to get a Rufflet or to turn into a Braviary. So Rufflet and Wailmer are my 2 mons that I would go for on this playthrough from these. Maybe not the first playthrough, but at least the 3rd or 4th playthrough of the game.
Same, really. I mean, I haven't really used Braviary as in a playthrough ever, and it's still one of my favorite mons, so I definitely want to use it. I just hope it's easily accessible in this game.
I agree. I hope so.
And I will 100% use Munchlax and not evolve it. Which I hope it will.
You and your fucking Munchlax.
I love Munchlax. Look how happy he looks.
Yeah, he looks so happy. He went from sleeping with his head down like a Mimikyu, with like a busted Mimikyu, then up looking all happy with a smile on his face, and then now it's just food.
That's why you can't not love Munchlax. He is the personification of every person really on the inside.
But these are the monsters we know will be in the game. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Here we have Fletchling, Fletchinder, and Talonflame. They are hinted at in the trailer to be in the game, mostly because of that wind directing thing that we saw in the second shot of the trailer. That was clearly in the form of a Fletchling. I think they will be in the game, mostly because they fit the British environment pretty well. So I hope they will be in the game. It will be really nice, and I also hope that they take away the nerf on Gale Wings to Talonflame, so Talonflame can be good again in Draft Wings formats.
Yeah, let's hope so. It would be awesome. Speaking of that, though, what other mons do you think that have not been confirmed yet will be in the games?
If we go from Generation 1 up to Generation 7, in Generation 1...
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Miltank, that's Generation 2, Dan. So stupid. Generation 1, Taurus. 100% Taurus. Lapras, most likely. Seal and Dugong, I can see. Those are probably the most likely ones, in my opinion, from Generation 1.
Yeah.
And if you combine with Generation 2, you also have Scyther and Scizor, and Onyx and Steelix. From Generation 3, the only one that I can really see fit in that isn't already announced, so to speak, would be Aggron, Aron, Lairon, Aggron, kind of biased, of course.
And Salamis line.
I could also see Sveel, Celio, and Walrein.
Yeah.
Maybe Phoebus and Milotic. I'm not so sure about that.
Honestly, I could also see the Salamis line.
Salamis line, yeah, 100%. Oh, I forgot about Ampharos line from second gen.
Yeah.
And the Miltank, of
Thank
course.
you. Yeah, because of sheep.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty much confirmed for that. From Forfian, I don't really know what months from Forfian would fit in.
You have Sneasel Weavile.
Yeah, Sneasel Weavile, and of course you then also have all other evolutions. You have Piloswine, and Mamoswine.
Yeah, I could also see Magnemite's line because
of
the
course.
industry part. Magnetoad in that regard. I could also see Float and Buizel.
Yeah, probably. That can make sense.
What else?
Not so much from Generation 4, what I know.
Yeah.
Generation... Well, maybe Starly. Starlist and Straptor.
Yeah.
Of course. They could probably go in there.
Probably.
Generation 5. Cling Clang.
Yeah.
That's probably those that I can see
Excadrill.
making some sense.
I can see Excadrill.
Yeah, I could do. Yeah.
What else could I see?
Pido maybe, and Pido line.
Yeah. Stunfisk maybe.
Stunfisk maybe. Yeah, that could actually make sense.
And Pheasant.
But I don't think too many else. Generation 6, Florges line, 100% in my opinion.
Noivern, 100%. Because
I can see Go-Goat
Wales.
and that line.
Yeah.
I
don't know. For me personally, from Generation 1, I could definitely see Ponyta and Rapidash.
Yeah.
From Generation 2, Granbull and Snubbull is definitely going to be in game because they're based on English Bulldogs. From Generation 3, I don't really have anything else to add there. Generation 4, same. In Generation 6, I don't know really.
I mean, I can only really think of Florges from Generation 6.
I mean, possibly Rockruff. It's not Generation 6.
Yeah, Generation 7. We can have Rockruff.
Like a Rocket Turn.
In Generation 7, though, you have summons that could fit in pretty well. The Rockruff, of course, and its 3 evolutions. I could see... what's his face? Morlul fitting in pretty well.
Yeah.
And I could also see... I forgot his face now, just because of that. I have to open up the Pokédex.
Mimikyu is probably going to be in the game just because of how popular it is.
Which one?
Mimikyu.
What Pokemon did you say, Baron?
Mimikyu.
Mimikyu, yeah. Noivern from Generation 5, I think it is.
I already mentioned it.
Oh, you mentioned it? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, but it's, just because of Wales and, like, that's
of
based on
course.
Wyvern. That's
Delmice, that's the face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Definitely.
That's about it, though.
What about Eevee?
Eevee will 100% be in the game, and there was a reason I didn't mention Eevee earlier when we talked about Generation 1. Eevee will 100% be in the game, and listen to this. We got 3 evolutions in Generation 1, being, of course, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. Umbreon and Espeon in Generation 2, nothing in Generation 3, Leafeon and Glaceon in Generation 4, Generation 5, nothing, Generation 6, Sylveon, Generation 7, nothing, now it's time for Generation 8. I think that if we are lucky, we can get anywhere between 1 and 3 evolutions. We will 100% get 1 evolution, and that would be a Steel evolution in my opinion. And we can possibly get up to 3 evolutions, and I think that Rock and Dragon are pretty close at hand for those 2, at least if you listen to the rumors.
I would disagree with you at any point. I would say just because I think there are not going to be more than 80 mons.
That's another discussion, though.
I don't. Yeah. But based on that, I don't think that there will be 3 evolutions because that would take up too much space in the Pokédex. So I instead think that it would be 2. And I think that those will be Steel because of the industry aspect of these games. That would probably be a central part of the plot.
Yeah.
And a Dragon type.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon and Steel are probably the most common things.
And if those two would be reality, that would be epic.
Yeah. One thing that I would like to see, if we talk about the Pokemon X, which we can also do about this one, we will get based on we got 40. We got 30 confirmed mons for from earlier generations for the Pokédex from the trailer here, which means that we'll get somewhere between 100 and 120, probably. Maybe even if we stretch it up to 150 old generation mons for the national Pokédex. Well, for the region Pokédex, rather. And that means that we won't get more than 80 new mons in this generation, probably somewhere between 50 and 65 new mons for this generation.
Most likely, just because they're so afraid to hit number 1,000.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they will want to hit number 1,000 in Generation 10 with the last Pokemon.
That'd be amazing.
And they could do this in two different ways. They could give us 150 new mons for Generation 8, or they take it very slow with the new mons and have 150 mons for Generation 10 or something like that.
But they could introduce like 200. They could introduce like 200 mons in this game and introduce like 20 mons in Generation 9.
Yeah, but for me, I think somewhere between 50 and 65, maybe 70 new mons is to be expected from this game.
Yeah,
not more.
Moving on.
You don't have anything to say on that? So
no,
yeah.
I mean you pretty much brought up everything I wanted to say about it. So yeah.
Okay, then let's move on to the starters. And this is just to show off the starters. We're gonna talk through every one of them. But overall, I'm disappointed in the design of the starters, in my opinion. Because, especially in the Fire Rabbit, Scorbunny looks stupid and should never exist, in my opinion. Grookey looks pretty dope, could be pretty nice to have. But Sobble is the only one that actually looks like a new Pokemon, in my opinion. Even if it does look like other mons we have seen earlier, it still looks new due to the format of the body. It looks like a combination of things. It doesn't look like anything we have seen before.
I don't like any of them. I hate to be a pessimist, but I think Scorbunny looks like a Digimon.
It does, and it could get run over and destroyed by an Pokemon fan.
Yeah, it's roadkill. Sobble looks like a combination between Poliwag and Mudkip, which I really dislike. And the face looks like
Froakie.
Froakie, thank you. And Grookey is alright, but I expected more. Honestly, I'm really disappointed because I think that Scorbunny will be a firefighting type, and I think that I would have wanted like a Platypus Mon or like a Dolphin Mon for the water starter. Instead, we got a Mudkip ripoff, which is not too.
I mean, we're gonna talk through every single one of them, and we're gonna start with what we call the roadkill. Scorbunny. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. The only good thing with this thing is that it has potential to be a new typing. A new type combination.
Fire electric, right?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this in the earlier recording, which is why you know that I think electric. But if you look at the feet,
it's also because I think electric. So there's that. But yeah.
The reason, I mean, it can be one of three things really. It can be firefighting, fire normal, pure fire, of course, or fire electric. I really hope for fire electric. Yeah. The reason I say fire electric is because when you look when you see it the first time in the trailer, it clamps on the steel wheel, and it makes the sound as when magnets clutch on or grab on to something of the nature of steel or metal in any form.
And from another aspect, I think they look like band-aids, which is why I fear that it will be a firefighting type.
Yeah.
And if it is, I will throw it. I will first shoot it with a rifle and then throw it in the trash next to Embor. But I wouldn't mind having them as pure fire, grass, water typing, just to be able to avoid the possibility of having another fighting starter.
Yeah, I agree on that. If the choice is between having all of them having one single type or having everyone with dual typing and having this thing firefighting, I would choose single typing every single day of the week.
Same.
But if this can be a fire electric type, I would be so fucking happy because that is one of my favorite type combination that has not been used yet.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I hope that is the case.
Yeah, I hope that is the case. Next up, we have Grookey, the
my favorite monkey of the three, but which is not seeing a lot. I just think I think this Mon does a pretty good job of personifying what a monkey is, and
Yeah.
like with his tool and like all that. It is a pretty decent design, honestly, and you know, I don't hate it.
I mean, for me, I like the design, but they have done so many monkeys in the past. I mean, we have the elemental monkeys, we have Pasimian and Oranguru, we have Infernape and its line, we have Primeape and the line. There are probably some other, like that's 12, 14 months, if not more. And I think there are other monkeys as well that I've forgotten.
I definitely want to say that I think that Grookey doesn't fit in a UK region.
That as well.
It kind of feels like, I just realized this now, it kind of feels like they should switch place between Grookey and Rowlet.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Because Robin Hood and it makes way more sense for now to be in England.
Yeah,
a fucking monkey.
What I hope though is that this thing turns into grass rock and becomes a big silverback gorilla.
I'm hoping grass dark in that respect because that would be amazing. But yeah,
I mean, I don't see grass dark so much, but grass rock I can 100% see.
Same. Yeah.
I mean, I can understand grass dark, but I feel like grass rock is more what they're going for with this thing.
Yeah, it's more about me wishing for things.
Yeah,
but
same
I
here.
definitely want it to be a bulky gorilla. That's sort of what I want.
Yeah, and you don't have anything else to say here, right?
Not really, no.
Then we go back to the last of the starters, Sobble. This is my favorite. I know that it's some sort of combination between all the starters that we have seen from the water type as of late.
Rip off.
But for me, it's still unique in the sense that this is a unique form of it. Like it's a chameleon tadpole.
Why?
And that
Why
makes
can we
it...
not have a dolphin mon? Like I'm asking for very few things here, Game Freak.
Yeah, Dolphinmon would have been perfect here, actually.
It just feels like a rip-off of other water starters, which is, do they have no creativity? Making water type starters?
They do have some creativity.
I'm hating so much on this
because
mon,
this
but
is a
like,
chameleon.
honestly.
And how many chameleon mons do we have?
Kecleon?
We have one in Kecleon. So this is our second chameleon Pokemon. And the first that can evolve.
Why do we need to begin with?
What?
Like, why not have one? Like, that's enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, but if they have 13, 15 monkeys, of course they like...
I mean, that's another problem we're not going to get into, but yeah. Okay, let's just try to be positive about this mon, because
I'm very positive about this one. This is my favorite, 100%.
Take it away, Djingis.
But yeah, that's about... I don't really have anything else to say about Sobble. We've seen very little of them. I want to know more about them before we can talk even more about them, so to speak.
But which typing do you think it will be, if I may ask?
Water Psychic, Water Ghost, Water Fairy. I don't think Water Fairy because we just had it, but Water Psychic, Water Dark... Well, Water Fairy and Water Ghost looks pretty dominant.
No, I totally agree with you. And either of those typings I would be down for. I would probably pick Sobble in that case. And I think Ghost type might be a bit more likely based on that feeling that it disappears and comes back again, which is kind of behavior for Ghost.
Yeah, but at the same time, we have already seen Mew and other Psychic type mons disappear before in the anime and so forth.
I'm just saying, like a Water Ghost type, having that, because we only have Jellicent. So
yeah.
like, having an offensive Water Ghost type.
But we only have,
Ninja.
Slowbro, Slowking, and Slowpoke as Water Psychic types.
But still, like imagine having like a Greninja as offensive, but instead of Water Dark, it would be Water Ghost.
That would be nice. The only problem is that the Greninja would steal rockets. Greninja would still be better because of the Ghost typing and the Psychic typing. So
yeah,
whatever.
But still,
these are all the starters. I think we have the map to go through now, and we're gonna do this pretty swiftly. We have the English farmlands in the bottom. Then we have something that looks like a golf court with the Loch Ness in some way or another. We have a collapsed tower. We have something that I think is Manchester. And we have some railroad tracks going all over the place.
One thing that we talked about in the first recording was that it would be possible to have a giant Dragonite living in the ocean next to the tower.
Yeah,
because it kind of looks like the collapsed tower from Generation 1 anime. And in my opinion, as a massive Dragonite fan, I would be so flabbergasted by that. That'd be so amazing.
It would be so cool to see, and it would also make some sense if that's space of the Loch Ness monster, and they don't want to use a Lapras for that. They could bring that back from the anime for nostalgia reasons.
Djingis.
And that it would make perfect sense.
No. Imagine if we get a Mega Dragonite
with
in
the
Generation 8.
Dragonite Knight.
Yes. With Dragonite Knight.
With the whole Dragonite Knight. The Dragonite reacts to its Mega Stone.
Listen. The Mega Dragonite would be Dragon Water or Dragon Fairy, and it would rise out of the lake. It would be massive.
And it will have a knight on its back. So it's no longer Dragon Knight, it will be Dragon Knight. Okay,
shut up.
Enough puns for today.
Yeah, but Mega Dragon Knight in the lake would be...
that would be fantastic.
Else. Yeah.
And then we have some railroads as well, and yada yada yada. I mean, we don't really have to talk about that because it's pretty straightforward what will happen. We'll travel through the railroad to the next city if we want to do that, and we can unlock that later on. Fly might not be in this game, instead we have a railway system. I'm fine either way.
Might be. I mean, I can see what are they called? The things that he had in Generation 7 carrying on to Generation 8.
The poker something. Yeah.
Poker rides, yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to fly Charizard or Dragonite something, that would be epic.
Yeah, that's something I would like them to bring in from Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu as well, but that's another discussion.
That's not in those games, but I was talking about the thing that you have in Generation 7. Where
I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
but I would like to see the other things as well from Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu.
Okay. Yeah,
two things that I want to talk about on the map before I go through to the top part of the map. Around the lake, it looks like it's some form of golf course. Is this the region that Kahili went to train golf and become a golf master before she became an E4 member?
Yeah, I can also see that area being where the lines are for the like mythological beasts that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
Yeah, we will see.
Another thing that I really hope for is that beneath the railroad to the left or to the west, we can go down to that seaside and walk out from the beach. Yeah. That would be really, really nice.
For sure. Moving on to the next picture?
Yeah, top part of the map.
This is what I'm excited about.
There's a number of things here. This is a really interesting map, in my opinion. Because, let's just see here, we have the Stonehenge, we have Manchester in the bottom, then we have Stonehenge right above it to the left. Then we have a seaport to the right, and then straight up we have a castle of some form. Then we have a mansion in the snow right up that way, and we have some interesting mountain and forest area to the right. And then we have the snowy part of the region, then we have hopefully the biggest city of the region that's not post-game, and that is based off of London, because we have the London Eye and we have the Big Ben, and so forth. Let's make it short.
Let's talk about the it was a good breakdown, but let's talk about the massive tower that is like right in the center of the city. What do you think that is?
I mean, it could be anything really. It could be anything from the Elite Four to Battle Tower to post-game activities, or whatever you wanna do with it really.
No, same. I could see it being both a battle tower and like a part of Battle Frontier, especially based on that it's surrounded by a lot of interesting and eye-catching buildings. I can also see it being the Elite Four. So I can see the mountainous areas, kind of like Mount Lanakila, being the Victory Road. So you would travel up there, and they would go up the tower to champion in the observation deck.
So to everyone watching right now, I had a big realization. That's why I went all crazy when it talked. What if that big tower is the headquarters of the secret police? And you can apply to become a secret police officer, and you can fly, or however you want to go, to all other regions to fight the evil teams of that region.
If that is the case, then I pick my party Pokemon to be Munchlax. I think that'd be amazing. I don't think that would happen.
No, neither would I. But I mean, I just had that realization that.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! What if that happens?
If two fans can dream, then that will be a dream.
Yeah,
sure.
But one thing before we close down this
Conclude.
discussion, we can see a number of gyms in this layout.
Yeah.
We have in the Stone Age area, we have the grass gym. We have a water gym at the seaport city. We have a rock or ground gym to the left of the big castle thing, and then right above that we have probably poison or fairy type gym. And then we have probably something that would be steel type gym in the big castle, and then some other thing in the ice area with the mansion. So we can see a number of gyms here.
I honestly, two things. I could also see the massive castle thing being a dragon type gym.
Yeah, it could very well
and I
be
could
that.
also see Manchester having a steel type gym.
Yeah, I can agree on that. It could also be a water, not water gym.
Ground or rock type gym would be also likely.
I completely forgot what I was about to say, so scratch that.
Oh. Okay. Well,
But yeah.
Do you feel ready to move on?
Yeah, I think this is the last. Yeah, so
Yeah. So let's move on.
this is the last slide
Right.
of the. Well, this is the last picture, and we're gonna do some conclusions here.
Yeah.
So, to start off with, how does it feel now with everything we have discussed?
I tried to remember what I said in the first recording. I feel more positive towards the game, honestly. And I feel like that's mostly because of breaking down the whole entire aspects of the game and the trailers. It's really made me realize that they put a lot of detail and thought into these games. And it makes me hopeful that the trailers that are to come will just show more amazingness of the games and will be making me more hyped to play these eventually. And of course, or not of course, but I will definitely be picking Pokemon Sword as my first game because it is way cooler in my opinion. What about you?
Well, I was hyped as soon as they released the trailer. As soon as they said there was going to be new games, I got really hyped. But then when I saw the graphics and everything around it, it just felt alive in another way than Pokemon has done before for me. And I've always loved Pokemon, but it felt way more real than it did before. And I have to agree, I will play Pokemon Sword every single day before I play Pokemon Shield, but I will get both as soon as I can.
I won because I have a very limited budget.
Well, so do I, but fuck it. But with that said, thank you for staying with us for almost 1.5 hours of talking.
It was more for us. But,
yeah, it was way more for us, but that doesn't really matter. About 1.5, maybe 1 hour and 20 minutes for you guys. So thank you for watching through everything if you have done that. Leave any comments you want in the comments section of both videos. Yes, both videos, because this will go up on my channel and on Baron's channel. And for those of you that are watching this on Baron's channel, thank you for being able to put up with my ugly face for over an hour on a channel that you didn't even subscribe to see my face on. Thank you.
Yeah, he really does mean it.
And
yeah.
With that, I don't have
right?
anything else to say, really. So,
Me
do you have
neither.
any last words, Baron?
Not really, but if you're watching this on my channel, check out Djingis because he does a lot of good shit. So yeah, and we're gonna be posting more of these videos. Probably when more trailers are to come.
Yeah,
So
we'll 100% do
keep
that.
updated for that.
And I can also say that you will find Baron's link, well, the link to Baron's video or his channel in my description, and you will probably find the link to my channel and the video uploaded on my channel in Baron's channel, and the Baron's
Probably.
video in the description.
Focus on probably. No, I'm kidding.
But with that said, once more, thank you for watching this video, or watching this discussion rather, with us talking for over an hour, probably 1.5 hours.
We're gonna get the hashtag out of here.
We might have
So thank you guys
overdone it,
for watching.
overanalyzing things, but whatever.
No.
It's for fun.
But yeah, we're gonna get the hashtag out of here. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.
See you all later, guys.
Bye.